just in case it's important for me to do this, I'm going to just go through a little more of the arithmetic here. If you understand everything I did in the last clip, if you understand how to reduce these matrices, and your book of course has examples, and you can find examples online all over the place, but if you had a little trouble with the arithmetic or didn't completely follow, I'm going to go into a little more detail. So from this step to this step, I repeat the first row. I noticed that if I add -2 times the first row to the second, I'm going to get rid of the number here. The number here will become 0. So -2 times the first row added to the second. -2 times 2 is -4. Add 4, we get 0. -2 times -4 is 8. Added to -3 gives us 5. -2 times 5 is -10. Added to 2 gives us -8. -2 times 9 gives us -18. Added to 4 gives us our -14. Then we add the first row to double the third row, because if we double the third row, we're going to get a -2 here, which added to the 2 is going to give us the 0 that we want. So -2 times -1 is -2. Added to 2 is 0. -2 times 2 is -4, and if we add that to -4, we get a bonus here. We get a 0 here, and we're going to want that. -2 times -1 is 2. Added to 5, 2 times -1 is -2. Added to 5 gives us 3. And 2 times 0 is 0, which added to 9 gives us 9. So that's the arithmetic of doing these operations. And the rest of the operations are pretty straightforward. We do 1/3 of the third row, just repeat the first and second in this matrix. So we repeat the first row of the previous, and then we repeat the second row of the previous, and we multiply the third row by 1/3. 1/3 of 0 is 0, so we get our 2 zeros. 1/3 of 3 is 1. 1/3 of 9 is 3. Then we have the matrix in a form in which it would be pretty easy to solve. But we go one more step to get kind of an official echelon form here, and you can read about the terminology. It's nice if we get ones here. And that's easy to do. We just multiply this row by 1/2. 1 first row times 1/2. Half of 2 is 1. Half of -4 is -2. Half of 5 is 5/2. Half of 9 is 9/2. And then we multiply the second row by 1/5. 1/5 of 0 is 0. 1/5 of 5 is 1. 1/5 of -8 is -8/5. 1/5 of -14 is -14/5. And now we have ones here, which means we have z equals 3, y plus some other stuff. Of course, y plus -8/5 z is -14/5, but we can substitute 3 for the z, and now we can have an equation that we easily solve for y. And then similarly up here we have an equation in which we could substitute the value of z we obtained here, the value of y we obtained here, get an equation that we can solve easily for x. That's great, and that's sufficient for many purposes, but we go a little further so that we don't even have to plug anything into an equation. And we use the 1 here to get rid of this -2. And if we had anything but 0 here, we could use this 1 to get rid of it. How? We take the first row and add double the second row, because if we add double the second row, we're going to have a 2 here, and that'll add to the -2 to give us the 0 that we're going to get. And of course, double the 0 leaves our 1. Having all these zeros down here means that anything we do as far as adding multiples of the lower rows is not going to affect this 1. And again, if we had something besides 0 here, we could do something similar. But we do 1 added to 2 times the second row. 2 times 1 is 2, added to -2 gives us 0. 2 times -8/5 is -16/5. Added to 5/2, 5/2 being 25/5 gives us -25/10. And I'm not sure I said all that right, but here's the calculation that we wrote down here, -7/10. Okay? And to say that right, negative 8/5 is 2 times negative 8/5 is negative 16/5, which is negative 32/10. 5/2 is 25/10. Negative 32/10 and 25/10 is negative 7/10. And then negative 14/5 added to 9/2, done similarly. Double this, we get negative 28/5, and that is negative 56/10. 9/2 is 45/10. Negative 56 and 45 is negative 11. That gives us negative 11/10. Write that out if you have to, and very likely many of you will have to. Okay? So now we have 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. And there's just one more step that I alluded to before. If we add 8/5 of this row to this row, as we say here, we're going to get rid of the negative 8/5, because 8/5 of 1 is 8/5 added to negative 8/5 will give us the 0 that we get here. Over here, 8/5 of 3 is 24/5 added to negative 14/5 gives us 10/5. 24/5 and 14/5. I was getting 11 there for some reason because my brain, I just caught that 11 out of the corner of my eye. But 24/5 and negative 14/5 gives us 10/5, which is 2. So we are going to get 2 here. Again, you really should work that out by hand, because you probably need a little practice working with fractions. If you don't, that's okay. Long as you can do it, I'm happy. Okay, and then 7/10 of the third row. 7/10 of 3 is 21/10. Add that to negative 11/10, we get 20/10, which is, that can't be right. 7/10 of 3 is 21/10. Added to negative 11/10 is 10/10, which is 1. So we get 1, 2, 3 over here.